Hey, what's up everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today we are doing the Wood versus Lara breakdown video. I know this fight's about a week and a half away, but you know, I don't care. This is a great matchup right here, and I want to break it down and give my prediction. You know, it's pretty much the first breakdown video I'm doing of the year, and I'm really excited about this fight. I think it's going to be a banger right here. So, you know, before we get started, if you guys can smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, I appreciate it, guys. I'm really trying to grow my channel, so I'm mentioning that at the beginning of the video now. You know, even if it's a negative comment or you know, or a thumbs down, do that too. I'm fine with it. You know, it's not that it doesn't matter to me, because it does, but I don't want people to be fake. That's why I call it True Boxing, because it's all fact-based opinions by me. So anyways, let's get on with Wood versus Lara. So this is a WBA featherweight title fight. You know, Lee Wood upgraded to full champion when Leo Santa Cruz finally vacated the belt. He had a stranglehold on it. The WBA allowed him to do that for 3+ years, and finally Lee Wood was able to be upgraded deservingly to world champion. So his first defense is against Mauricio Lara, with the potential of Josh Warrington waiting for the winner, which makes it 10 times fucking more exciting right there. So as I always do with breakdown videos, is if it's a straight up fight, it's the favorite first and then the underdog second. But in a championship fight, it's the champion first, challenger second. And I ask the same questions. I mention what they've done coming into the fight, and then I ask the same 5 questions on each side, and then we get to, is it better for boxing if one or the other wins? And the final question is sorry guys, the final question is god damn it, I'm drawing a blank. I'm so sorry. The final question is, or not a question, it's my prediction on the fight. So let's jump in. Let's start with the reigning WBA champion, Lee Wood of the United Kingdom. So first off, he's fighting this fight at home in the United Kingdom. Big deal for him. He's coming in rolling, you know. His last 3 fights, he's won 3 fights in a row since his second career loss to Jaza Dickens, back in 2020 when he lost a majority decision, a close one right there. You know, the following fight, he beat an undefeated guy named Reese Mold in 2021, stopped him in 9 rounds. Then that's when the opportunities happened. He took on Can Shu of China in August of 21 in a fight, July. Most people thought Can Shu, who throws over 1,000 punches a fight, this was just like a stay busy. He was going to walk right through Lee Wood. But Lee Wood just pounded on Shu, beat him to the punch. Very good performance. And then he went after the knockout and stopped Shu in the 12th round to claim the WBA regular belt. It was a big upset. He claimed the belt. And then, what was it, 8 months later, in March of last year, 2022, he took on Michael Conlan. And a fight that most people, myself included, picked Michael Conlan to win. You know, Conlan was winning the fight, but it was a good action-packed fight. It was a Fight of the Year candidate. Conlan was winning on points, and he was gonna, heading into the championship rounds, Lee Wood pretty much needed a knockout on, you know, because he was behind. And in the 11th, he hurt Conlan badly, and then in the 12th, he laid him out with one of the best knockouts of the year and retained his title. So this is a guy that fights hard 12 rounds, you know. So even though in the last kind of 3 calendar years, he has not been super active, like in his last 3 fights, they date back to 2021, early 2021. So we're going a little over 2 years. He's fought only 3 times, but he's put in 33 rounds. And even though Lara in that same time frame has fought 5 times, he's only put in 17 rounds. So he's nearly doubled Lara's rounds the last 3 years, you know, or 2 years. So, you know, he's rearing to go. He's pumped up, and it's a high risk opponent to choose right here. But it's a big reward if he wins, especially if he lands that Warrington showdown, which is an all UK battle. So he's pumped. First question is, what kind of style does Leigh Wood need to have to win this fight? Well, I think Wood needs to be more of the counter puncher. Mauricio Lara is a devastating puncher. He hits hard. So I think he needs to box more. Leigh Wood needs to box more and try to take Lara into the deep waters and drown him. Lara's young. He's very powerful, but he has not went the distance many times. The last time he even went past, I think 3 or 4 rounds was against Warrington in their first fight, and he beat on Warrington that whole fight, so he was good heading into the 9th. If Leigh Wood can counterpunch and even give up some rounds early to take him into deep waters and drown him, to wear him out, I think that's where Leigh Wood, that's what Leigh Wood needs to try to do right there. I think that's the style, is become the boxer in this one, but, you know, and during the exchanges, try not to get into a firefight with Mauricio Lara, unless he hurts Lara with something big, then you pounce on him. But, and Lara he can be hurt. You know, we've seen him stunned a couple times. So, definitely, that's the style he needs to employ. Now, can Leigh Wood win this fight by knockout? Yeah, I think he can, and I think he might be able to hurt Lara if he catches him with something big, but I think more taking him into those deep rounds and drowning him, I think that's the way to stop Mauricio Lara if I'm Leigh Wood. Can he win by a decision? Yeah, I mean, I think he can. If he can go 12 rounds, I think it's possible, especially with Lara not being a guy that fights deep into fights very often. You know, I think if he gets there, yeah, I could see that potentially going down. Now, what does a win mean for Leigh Wood? Oh, it would be the biggest win of his career, in my opinion. Beating Mauricio Lara right now, when Lara has been maybe the most feared man in the division since he knocked out Josh Warrington, and taking a gamble and fighting him, I equate this fight to Wilder fighting Luis Ortiz in their rematch. He did not have to fight him in that rematch, and he had Tyson Fury waiting for him. I view this fight with Lara as the same way. It's not a mandatory fight. He can fight whoever he wants next. Leigh Wood can. And probably still get Warrington, but he's going after Lara because he wants the big fight. So yeah, this would be a big win for Wood. He'd be really riding it high, and he would probably roll into the fight with Warrington, the favorite, if he can beat Mauricio Lara. Now, what does a loss mean for Leigh Wood? Depending on how he loses, I think it's about, on paper, it's probably a 50-50 fight. So if he loses, I don't think many people are going to be surprised, but he does go to the back of the line, and it would really hurt him, especially if he gets knocked out. You know, if he loses convincingly and he gets knocked out, he's 34 years old, so, you know, it really would hurt Leigh Wood to lose this fight. So that's it for him. We're going to move on to Mauricio Lara and do the same exact thing. So we start with what Lara's been doing coming into this fight. Well, Lara has won 3 in a row since or 2 in a row since a technical draw with Josh Warrington in their rematch in September of 2021. Actually, I think he won 3 fights since then. He has just been laying dudes out early, staying busy, trying to land a big fight. And, you know, I mean, we go back a couple years when he just destroyed Josh Warrington and really made his name at in the division. You know, Lara just really put his imprint on everybody and put everybody on notice. And then, you know, a lot of people act like Josh Warrington won that rematch. It only went 2 rounds and it ended by a technical draw because of a cut, you know, that Warrington caused on Lara. So I think Lara would have beat him again, but now he has the opportunity to get Warrington's ass in the ring a 3rd time, but also become a world champion. Mauricio Lara is young, undefeated, and fucking hungry, and he's already went to the United Kingdom and defeated a top fighter in Josh Warrington. He is fearless. He's ready to go, and I think he is just on fire. Now, I did mention that in the last couple years, these two guys, even though Lara's been busier in terms of activity, in terms of rounds the last 2 years, Lee Wood has doubled Mauricio Lara in rounds. So that's a big eye-opening stat right there that I think could make a difference. Now, what does Mauricio Lara need to do to win this fight? Well, I think Lara just needs to fight his fight that he normally does. Go out there, go, be the banger, try to box his way in, maybe throw that hard jab that he has. He reminds me like of a little Jaime Munguia with how hard he punches and how hard his jab is. If he could, when he's getting close, throw a jab first and then throw the left hook and the overhand right, it could definitely hurt Lee Wood and keep him stationary. I think Lee Wood's going to be moving and counterpunching in this fight. But what Lara doesn't need to do, he needs to cut the ring off. That's what he does need to do. But what he doesn't need to do is chase Lee Wood around the ring. Because Lee Wood, in my opinion, his goal is going to be to wear Mauricio Lara down. And he also doesn't need to walk into any big counter shots. So he needs to be smart. Lee Wood is also a fearless guy, but I think he's going to fight this fight smart. And or at least try to. But once Lara gets him on the ropes or gets him to stop, he needs to hit that body hard. And I think the body shots will slow down Lee Wood, and that'll set up the knockout. Don't just go head hunting early. Wear down the body. That needs to be Mauricio Lara's goal. Wear down the body to where Lee Wood slows down, and then he can finish him off in the middle, and possibly in the middle rounds to the later rounds, and he doesn't gas himself out in that process. So that's what I think Mauricio Lara needs to do to win this fight. Now, can Mauricio Lara win this fight by knockout? I absolutely believe he can. I think he's got just ridiculous power, and I think he's hungry as fuck, and I think he's got one-punch knockout power or wear you down type power, and he's relentless. So yeah, definitely could see him winning by knockout. Can he win by a decision? I can see that too. A decision though, if it goes 12 and he hasn't beat on Lee Wood the entire fight, it could be close though. I don't think Lara can win, and again, unless Wood can stay on his feet and get beat down for 12 rounds, I don't see Lara winning a blowout. So, I think if it goes to a decision, it could be close, but I do think he could win a decision. What does a win mean for Mauricio Lara? It means everything. Would it be bigger than the upset over Josh Warrington? No. But he would become a world champion, which would be huge, and it leads him to the biggest fight of his career, a potential third showdown with Josh Warrington, and then that would be potentially his career best win. So it could lead to a career best win in a rubber match with Warrington, because that would now be for an official world title. So a win would mean everything to this youngster Lara. Now, what does a loss mean for Lara? A loss would hurt, yes, but Lara is young, and he's hungry, and he's powerful. He's got a lot of time if he were to get beat in this fight by Lee Wood. He does have time. And again, it would mean, how would he get beat? If he gets worn down and stopped in the late rounds, then okay, he knows he's got to work on his stamina and continue to grow. But I don't think a loss devastates Lara because he's young as much as it would. So for me, of course a loss hurts anybody, but I don't think it would devastate his career, badly. But he would have to start over, which is devastating to any of these guys, especially a fight of this magnitude. Now, we're winding it down. Is it better for boxing if Lee Wood or Mauricio Lara wins this fight? I'll be straight up. It's better for boxing if Mauricio Lara wins this fight, and I'll tell you why. His punching power and his style, even though Lee Wood's is entertaining and fun to watch, but also because Lara's young, and boxing needs young, entertaining fighters that hit hard. Boxing has always been about knockouts over decisions. Sometimes I don't agree with that. A lot of times the better boxers are guys that can box. But the more entertaining fighters is what's going to keep drawing the younger crowd and people into the arenas and watching on TV. And Mauricio Lara is that. Plus, the Mexican fan base is enormous, and any fun, active, and all-action Mexican fighter like this is good for boxing. And again, he's very young, so you know, he wins here, we're looking at Mauricio Lara in the spotlight maybe the next 5 years, you know. And again, it leads to a huge rubber match. Now, Lee Wood, it wouldn't be bad for boxing, because we're going to see a big UK battle between him and Warrington, most likely in the second half of the year, which is good for boxing too. But it's only in the UK, or majority UK, that's big. If Lara wins, then a third fight with Warrington is Mexico versus the United Kingdom again, and it just makes it more of a worldwide fight right there that people want to see. So I think it's bigger for boxing than Mauricio Lara, better for boxing than Mauricio Lara wins. And finally, my prediction on the fight. What do I think is going to happen? I truly believe Mauricio Lara is going to be crowned the new WBA champion. I think he's going to knock out Lee Wood. I see that happening. It could happen early, but I think it's going to happen more towards the middle rounds, maybe rounds 5 through 8 in that area. But I view this fight much the way I viewed the Ryan Garcia-Luke Campbell fight. I believe Lee Wood has the kind of power to hurt Mauricio Lara, so if Mauricio Lara is headhunting and he gets caught with a counter punch, that could end early. I think Lee Wood is a live underdog in my book, even though he's a champion. But I also believe that if it's a competitive fight and Mauricio Lara goes past 8 rounds, that could get scary, even if he's winning. If Lee Wood still has his legs, we know Lee Wood trains for 12 and fights all the way through 12, is fearless. Whether he's losing on the scorecards or whether he's winning on the scorecards, he goes for broke in those championship rounds. And if he can get Lara to those rounds, then, you know, or even to the 9th, 10th rounds in a competitive fight, it could get very scary for Mauricio Lara. So this is a very, very big fight that I'm very excited about. Saturday, February 18th on DAZN. Lee Wood versus Mauricio Lara for the WBA Featherweight Championship. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.